My name is Simon Waldman. I'm a historian and political scientist specialising in diplomatic history and international relations. The United Kingdom is leaving the European Union. As London renegotiates its relationship with Brussels, Britain is seeking stronger ties with Turkey, which is also frustrated with its relationship with the EU. Both London and Ankara have expressed intentions to massively increase bilateral trade and to transform relations into a strategic partnership. But can British-Turkish relations really move beyond the European Union, a body which for decades has bound the two countries together? Will a hard or soft Brexit help or hinder Britain's economic and political relations with Turkey? What obstacles stand in the way of greater bilateral cooperation? As a Mercator-IPC Fellow, I will seek answers to these questions.
My name is Gabriella Clutters. I'm a Turkologist who specializes in Turkish and gender studies. Currently, Turkey is hosting the largest population of displaced Syrian refugees in the world. Female Syrian refugees are especially vulnerable to a range of insecurities and violence. As a Mercator-IPC Fellow, I will focus on the approaches of NGOs in Turkey towards meeting the needs of female Syrian refugees and develop recommendations for a gender-sensitive approach to refugee integration. I will also focus on the ways female Syrian refugees organize themselves to build a life in exile. By developing gender-sensitive perceptions on crisis and migration, we can improve women's basic human rights and security and also develop long-term strategies to the human rights-based integration of refugees.
My name is Barish Karpalanar. I'm a development economist working on the interface between climate change adaptation and mitigation. Land-based greenhouse gas emissions from forestry and agriculture account for 1/4 of global emissions. At the same time, land is a major natural sink of carbon, offering a great capacity for carbon storage. To achieve the targets of the Paris Agreement, we need to reduce emissions from the land-based sectors, and we need to store carbon in land. This will also increase the adaptation capacity of both ecosystems and societies that rely on land. Higher organic matter often means increased biodiversity, better conservation of water and soil, increased vegetation productivity, and increased income for farmers. As a Mercator-IPC Fellow, I will be conducting research to identify the synergies between adaptation and mitigation through sustainable land management in Turkey. I will develop a set of policy recommendations that would aim at unlocking these synergies.
My name is Saad Aseran. I'm an anthropologist specialized in migration and refugee issues. In 2016, it was announced that 300,000 qualified and professional Syrian refugees would be considered for citizenship in Turkey, As such, the Turkish Ministries of Health and Education, with various civil society and public institutions, have been involved in training Syrian healthcare and education professionals. Their goal is to incorporate them in the Turkish labor market. As a Mercator-IPC Fellow, I will examine the effects of this incorporation and avenues for further EU-Turkey cooperation. I will also look into how it relates to the changing formulation of Turkish citizenship.
My name is Conor Araujo. I'm an economist working on climate policy and behavioral economics. Increasingly, carbon pricing options such as carbon taxes and carbon markets are seen as important instruments for the transition to a low-carbon economy. These institutions provide economic incentives, but they may also affect intrinsic motivations to protect the climate. As a Mercator-IPC Fellow, I will conduct economic experiments to compare behavioral responses to carbon taxes as opposed to carbon markets. More specifically, I will focus on the effects of such policies on human cooperation. Using economic games as an entry point, I would like to increase public awareness and civil society engagement on climate change and carbon pricing.
My name is Vanja Caraja and I'm an anthropologist working at the intersection of art and cultural policy. Contemporary artistic production and exchange programs have brought Turkey and the EU closer together for more than a decade and are now at risk with Turkey's withdrawal from the Creative Europe program. At the same time, Turkey's restitution claims for historical artifacts from international museums and connectedly archaeological excavation permits for international researchers have been entangled in a series of diplomatic crises. As a Mercator-IPC Fellow, I will research the potentials and challenges of Turkey's current foreign cultural policy by looking at these two fields of cultural relations and diplomacy. I aim to explore ways for bringing stakeholders in the fields of artistic production, heritage and cultural policy, as well as researchers into closer dialogue.